Welcome, Sagittarius. This is your monthly focus for December 2022. Now we'll dive right into the astrology, followed by the tarot cards, and we'll end with an oracle card. Let's begin. So we start off with the sun in Sagittarius. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. If you've already had your birthday, I'm sorry that I didn't say it sooner. I didn't show up sooner to wish you a happy birthday. But I do hope that you had at least 10 candles to burn out, that you had at least 10 wishes. Whoever said you get one wish, you got to wait 365 days for one wish was so pessimistic. Oh my gosh, they were mean. They were a mean person, and they convinced people of this probably by bullying them into submission. This is your time to, start a new path. To say, okay, I've done this in the last year, and so now where am I going from here? So the sun is on you. It's about your adventure, your opportunities, your learning experiences, your growth. Mars is also retrograde for the entire month. So when your relationships and this could be a spouse, this could be a lover, absolutely. It could be your children, it could be a child, it could be a parent, it could be a best friend, a close coworker. The people in your inner circle, somebody within the neighborhood, maybe a mentor. And it's not the time to bring in new people like that in our lives. Absolutely. I really don't think it's a strong place for you. Or try to really work on a relationship growing deeper. Of course, we should always be doing that, but it's not a time when we need that real focus on that. I think it's more the expansion rather than the deepness. It's the expansion of what that relationship means and how to expand it outwards to mean more in different areas of your life. To share a bigger part of yourself with them and allowing them to share themselves with you. Mercury moves into Capricorn on December the 7th, and that begins the Capricorn party. Okay, and for you, it really is a lot about your finances. You may be talking about money a lot. You may be asking questions about investments or loans or credit cards or investments of some sort that you want to make personally, or how to get that money working for you instead of just spending it. Looking at a budget, creating a budget for yourself. I almost get creating a budget for yourself, even if you have one. Start from scratch and see what new things come up in it. How you can put money away to utilize a larger chunk for bigger things in your life. Whether that's an investment, a toy for yourself, monetary, material wealth as well. What toys do you have? What toys do you want? What toys do you have that you don't play with? Well, get rid of them and use the money towards the toys that you do want going forward. So you'll be talking a little bit more about this as the month goes on, and this will be the main theme of the month is your money. It's also about slowing it down a little bit. Stop being so busy. And I know December is not a month when anybody can slow it down or not be as busy. So it's very, very important for you to delegate some things away so that it doesn't all land on your shoulders. This is not a time for you to work extremely hard. You can work hard, but don't. Sometimes you get overwhelming. Sometimes you get overwhelming. You overwhelm yourself. You'll never admit it, but you overwhelm yourself at times with the amount of things that you want to take on, the amount of things that you have on the go, the amount of things that you want to do, the things you want to learn. The list is probably huge for you. So we're talking about our finances. We're talking about our security. And it could be a little bit about your home too, and having that being your safe haven, and what makes it your safe haven, what brings in the harmony, what brings in the feeling of love within your where you live. How does it resemble the inner you? Because your environment does reflect the inner you. So if it's cluttered, then you're cluttered, okay? And we want to simplify. We want to simplify so that we can actually dance through the flowers, dance through the tulips, dance and feel alive and a spring in our step. And we can't do that if we have all these things, all these obligations, all these responsibilities. So delegation, I think, is very key for you. So start talking. If you're going to be talking about things, talk about how you can delegate some of this stuff away, especially the stuff you don't like doing. Get rid of it. Get rid of it if you can. And I know you'll do a fabulous job if you do it. And they probably won't do a good a job as you did, but it'll get done. It'll get done, okay? December the 8th, we have a full moon in Gemini. That is, you're really looking at your relationships, and some people may walk out of your life at this point in time. Some relationships may end. Some of them might fade into, the horizon. Some of them we just pull back a little bit where we were spending a lot more time together. We're now pulling away from each other. Okay, when these things happen, and it does happen, right? We're still not with the kids that we went to kindergarten with, right? We all went our separate ways. If we know one of them now, we would be lucky. I know a couple of them actually, but small community and all, everybody knows everybody pretty well. So, but it's looking at those relationships and understanding which ones need to go so that you can invite new energies in, like-minded thinkers. Have a window open so that you can have new friends, new relationships, new partnerships, new coworkers, maybe it's community, okay? Maybe you're branching out into different parts of the community and getting to know new faces and new groups of people. Although I do think it's one-on-one, so in that group of people, there's that one person that's special that will stand out. And it's not to go in search of new beginnings right now with new relationships and new groups of people. It's more about the expansion of what you already have and how you communicate with these people. How do you communicate with your spouse or a loved one? Do you hold back? Are you truthful with them? Do you hold back truths in order to not hurt their feelings, or worse yet, hold back your talents or abilities to still make them feel like they're better than you are, when in actual fact you have the talent, you have the beauty? So I really do get this as a shift in your relationships that will be happening throughout the month and going forward. Absolutely. And so let them go. I had one person say to me one time that if you're in a relationship and you don't want to leave the relationship because you would feel bad for leaving them, they also have a path that is calling them. Okay? And maybe they haven't heard it because they have been more focused on you. But when you hold out for that, you are robbing yourself of your experience to go forward. You're also robbing them for their experience of going forward. And so if you care for them at all, allow them to go their separate ways. And some of it, the universe, God, our angels will just take care of. We won't be able to connect like we always were able to. Our schedules change and they don't vibe the same way anymore. And we kind of separate from those kinds of things. It's only to allow space for new people to come in, okay, that are going to walk your path with you, that are there to enhance you in one way or another. Maybe you're the teacher, maybe they're the teacher. I think you're both teachers and you're both students in every relationship. But on December the 10th, Venus now moves into Capricorn. So it's, we could overspend here. We want shiny, we want beauty, we want luxury, and we could overspend, so be careful. But really what we want to do is we want to follow our passions consistently, because it is Capricorn. We want to make the plan, we want to make the strategy. That will make all the difference in the world in creating money and creating abundance and perhaps love in our life as well with Venus. But I think it's more, since it's in Capricorn, I think it's more geared towards financial. So make sure that you're not overspending or spending on the wrong things just because it's pretty or it's shiny, or you just want it in that moment. To think it through, to understand it a little bit better on if it's a real match for you or if it's going to be something that's gathering dust in the attic in a few months. December 20th, Jupiter will move from Aquarius, or I'm sorry, from Pisces back into Aries. So right now for you, you're probably trying to do things in your home. It's home and family. Okay, and the expansion of the beauty, the happiness, the joy in the home, within the family. And you've probably been working on that for a while now. But the energy will be shifting, and it'll shift on June or January or December. December, I don't edit, so I'm so sorry. December the 20th until May 2023. We are going to have a beautiful focus on happiness and joy and laughter. And I know so many Sages out there that the last 6 to 10 years has made them grow up and mature in a way that just isn't right for a Sag to be. And I think we can chip away some of that now. We can experience happiness. We can reintroduce ourselves to dancing and laughter and joy and giggles and allowing our creativity to flow, and standing in the independent and knowing ourselves, and yes, allow for a little bit of romance. On December the 21st, we will have the sun moving into Capricorn, into I can't talk now, into Capricorn, and that also marks the winter solstice. The light is shining now on your finances, so maybe some things have come to light, no pun intended, in order to make you really look at your finances or take them seriously, or you get these aha moments or these epiphanies of what you need to do and what you have to do, and you start to work out a game plan, you start to work out a strategy or an outline or a sketch or just a vague plan, but something to move you forward into the finances that you want to accumulate in your life so that it can flow through you, of course, and just keep on flowing, right? The more you let it flow out. There was a gentleman one time, he wanted to give all of his money away before he passed away. And they said he was terminal and he had about 9 months. And so for 9 months, he literally, as soon as money came in, he was throwing it out there. And he ended up passing away with more money in his bank account when he passed away than when he made that vow that he was going to give it all away. He just couldn't do it. The more he allowed it to flow through him, the more that accumulated in his life. And that's why we want to be of service to people, because when we can be of service and we can give ourselves to another, that's when all of a sudden it comes back and it rewards us tenfold. We're not doing it for the reward. If you're doing it for the reward, they'll know, okay? And they'll just say, yeah, that doesn't really count. But when you just do things out of the goodness of your heart, you see. I know one girl, she just does amazing things within the community all the time. If you go to any kind of function or fair or carnival or bingo night, or it doesn't matter what it is, an open house somewhere, she's usually there helping out, and just and she just knows everybody, and everybody in the community loves her. And then we were at a stag and doe just prior to it. It was a stag and doe, and it was just prior to that ugly couple of years that we had to walk through. So it was the last time of really getting together, and they drew a name for a trip, like halfway around the world. Something that she would never get for herself. She might buy it for somebody else because they really need it and want it in life, but she would never do something like that for herself. Anyway, somebody else won it, but they had to be present. Sit on the ticket that they had to be present. And they looked for her, and she wasn't there. So they pulled the name, and who was it? But this beautiful heart, right? This beautiful soul, all expenses paid trip for halfway around the world for like a couple of weeks for her and somebody else that she loves. Obviously, her husband went, right? He says, pick me. Okay. Where was I now? The sun going into Capricorn. Of course, on the 23rd, we will have the new moon in Capricorn. That just means money. That really, you're going to be geared to your finances. You're going to be really looking at them. And especially, if there is paperwork, maybe you're outstanding on your taxes, or you want to get a fresh or a head start on next year's taxes when you have to do them for this year or something. This is the perfect time to start pulling out that paperwork. I know, it's a busy time. But on December the 29th, Mercury will go stationary retrograde on us, and we don't want to have to deal with that kind of paperwork. And since it's already all about your finances, you can get a lot of things in order ahead of time so that you can just breeze right through that energy and not have to worry about negotiations or contracts. Okay, let's look at the cards. Okay, so I'm going to take the bottom two cards here. I'm not looking at them because I want it to be a surprise for me too. And look at what we got. We got the Chariot. The Chariot is about pulling it back a little bit, okay? So you got all this light shining on you. You start with the light shining on you, yourself. Your dreams, the possibilities of your tomorrow, your new adventures, opportunities, all this wonderful stuff. And then it moves over to money and finances and growing your abundance and growing your security. And on top of that, we're looking at our relationships and the beauty of our relationships. Of course, we want to deepen. I don't even get it as a deepening, though. When I say deepening, I start to say that, and it feels really, really wrong to say that. It's more like the expansion of it rather than taking it deeper. It's about getting more in common with each other, or talking more, or spending actual time present with the person. You can't sit in the same room and both of you be on your phones for an hour and count that as time spent together. It's got to be like looking into each other's eyes or having that communication or something where you are together in it. You can watch a movie together and talk about the movie as you go along, but but the Chariot is here to tell us to pull it back and really think it through, because this is a special time for us to really look at where we want to grow and how we want to grow, what we have to take responsibility of, and what we can allow where we can allow giggles and laughters into our life in order to really bring in that balance, that beauty that needs to be there for us to go forward. Until you get some real clarity and real understanding, don't worry about trying to move forward throughout the month of December, okay? Remember especially when Mars is in retrograde, our life is under construction, okay? We just don't have the oomph. We don't have the get up and go. We don't have the drive for success that we normally do with Mars moving through the sky. Okay, Mars is going backwards right now. It's revisiting some parts of our life and looking at where we could have expanded more, where we had more capabilities, where we had more talent to expose, where we had more opportunity to expose, but we kind of ran past those things in order to get to the here and now, okay? So it's okay to pull back on those reins a little bit throughout the month of December and really think things through. We have the Three of Wands. It's about thinking about the decisions. It really is. We stand here on the cliff top and we grab hold of that wand and we stare out into the abyss of our tomorrow. And really we can't make out a lot of anything, but we are imagining it. We are giving it thought of our best life ever, of what it looks like, and the path that we have to walk in order to actually get even partway there. We'll eventually move over to the next wand and we'll think maybe a whole different set of circumstances, or we'll just tweak this here and tweak that there. And what if this happened? What if I did this before that and that after this? We will eventually move over to that third wand at some point during the month with that aha moment, knowing the path we need to walk, knowing the path that we can walk, the path that has reality attached to it. Like it can become something very tangible and real in your environment, in your life, in your reality. Our first card is the Page of Swords. Well, a highly spiritual card. I mean, talk to God, your angels, your spirit guides. Absolutely. During this period of time, the cosmos, the universe, that divine energy, your higher self. Because you'll get the answers you seek. You'll get the knowledge. You'll get the wisdom. You'll get that download if you request it. The problem with this card is sometimes we do things just because we want something to change, something to happen. We can't stand this anymore. Something's got to break, something's got to give. And so we do something, and it ends up being pretty dumb because we didn't think it through at all. And it really had no merits. But at the time, it sounded like a really good idea. And so it's reminding us that spontaneity is something that we need to rejoice in our lives and follow in our lives, but we also still have to, just even with the chariot there, just back it up just a little bit and think it through before we actually just jump both feet in. We might want to just stick a toe in, see how cold or warm the water is before we just dive right in. Okay, just gonna get a sip here. No, I would never spend that much money on Starbucks, but my son was treating, so I said yes. The Justice card. The Justice card is a very strong energy once again here. So we're having a very strong energy reading for you. And it should be that way when the sun is in your sign for the start of the reading. Justice is about making that commitment to yourself. Justice is about setting that goal. Justice is about cutting away the things that no longer matter, no longer belong in your life, no longer bring in any kind of value or worth to where you are going. It probably, most likely, did at one point in time. It was a saving grace probably at one point in time in your life. But then it kind of just stayed there, right? It could be a behavior, a habit. You know, maybe you were the kind of person that you worked really hard every day. So on your day off, you'd lay in bed an extra hour, go on Facebook or play a game or, and just kind of waste an hour or two because every other day you had to jump out of bed at dawn and, hit the pavement running, so to speak, until you dropped at the end of the day. So it was a reward to you. But then for some reason you don't have that job anymore. Maybe you retire, maybe you got laid off, whatever it might be. And you find yourself, since it's another day off, that you are doing the thing that you used to reward yourself with. It was a reward. It was a thank you to yourself. You appreciated it at that time, but now it's just a bad habit and you're not doing anything for any morning on those days. So it's looking at the things that we used to have in place to keep us strong, to keep us moving forward, that don't necessarily keep us strong or move us forward anymore. And using that sword and cutting it away. Okay, there could be a lot of emotion attached to this. This is, if it seems too good to be true, chances are it is. This is more of a card that expects you to work hard for your goals, for your dreams, to show the want, to show the desire, to show the passion. Because they're all watching. To really say, I'm going to get this with or without you, but I'd like your help. It's about bringing things into balance in your life so that you can go forward. And we have the King of Swords. So swords and swords. So swords don't necessarily mean that we are moving forward. It's more of building our confidence, building our belief in ourselves, making sure that we're not being driven by a negative style ego, but rather a healthy ego that is moving us forward for the betterment of ourselves and everybody. Now, the King of Swords, I love him. He is, imagine that he's sitting there in that chair of his throne chair, and he's out in the middle of nature, and he's looking dead ahead, and he knows that straight ahead is the goal, the dream, the desire, his best life ever, But there is just bushes. There's just bushes there. There is no path. There's not even a hint of a path, but you know you need to go forward in this direction in order to step into the opportunities that you want to create for yourself in life, or present itself to you in your life, show up on your path. So we're looking straight ahead here. We are determined here. And we will use that sword to hack away those bushes and make a path if we have to, in order to go after our dreams, enough to go after our desires, in order to go after our wants. So it's time to get a little serious here by what I'm seeing. and just say enough is enough. I'm moving forward. And I'm going to do it with laughter and smiles and giggles. And because that is after December the 20th, right up till May 2023. It's all going to be about how to create that happiness in your life, that joy in your life, the simple pleasures in your life, the giggles, the dancing, and allowing your creativity to flow, allowing you to really express yourself in a whole new way. That's what this energy means. And so it's saying I'm going this way. I know it's there. I can sense it. I can sense it right on the other side of these bushes. So it's not even a wall anymore I'm talking about. It's just some bushes, and we got one heck of a mean sword there. They just cut through. So how much effort do you want to use? How much do you want to cut away? Do you want to make a big path? Do you want it so that you can roll out a red carpet right down to the end of it? Do you want it so that you just can barely through and get to the end of it all? Anyways, work and career. Work and career, the Queen of Wands appears. This is about having fun. This is about having fun with what you are doing. This is about getting excited. This is about motivating yourself out of pure passion for what you are doing. Okay, so in work, in career, I mean, you just really need to be filled with passion. And maybe you stepped into a passion and you forgot because it became work. Okay, I know somebody who said to me once, everybody wants me to make these so that they can buy these from me, but I just like making them and giving them away as gifts. It's fun that way. I don't want it to turn into a job. Then I won't like it. I won't appreciate it after a while. I won't get the same thrills out of creating. So you might find that you need a new spark within what you are doing, to expand your path in some way, to add something new, to take something out. The Queen of Wands does a lot of research and a lot of questioning on how to go forward and go forward right the first time, right? Every step is the right step the first time around. You never have to. When the Queen of Wands shows up, you really never have to look back behind your shoulder and say, did I make the right decision back there? Because you did. You did under this kind of energy. Absolutely. And when you get excited, you get this vibration about you under this kind of energy that other people want to help. Okay, so we're going to go right back to that whole delegating kind of thing. It's going to attract people that want to be a part of whatever you are building. Okay? So get excited about that. Get very excited about that. For love, relationships, the Six of Swords, it's time to go forward. It's time to push off. If you are not in a relationship, this is the time to push offshore and go to unknown lands. It's a time to say, okay, so what do I want perhaps in a partner right now? Maybe you haven't been with somebody for a while, or the hurt was too much, and maybe I need healing before. But I don't think you need the healing as much. You know what happened in the past relationships, okay? That's how you gain the wisdom of how to know better the next time around. But this is, if you're not in a relationship, to start thinking about getting out there, promoting yourself. You know, ask your friends if they know anybody who's looking. If you are in a relationship, yeah, it's time to plan an adventure together. You both know each other well enough, and it's time to add some perhaps new energy into that relationship, a new spark into that relationship. Once again, I don't get the word deepen in relationships with you. It's the expansion of. So you've got, so maybe those swords in front this time around mean more of the things that you do have in common. And now it's time to explore new areas together where neither of you know if you're even going to like it. But just to try it, to try something different, to have something new to talk about together at the end of the day. To expand that love in some way. It's not, I don't want you to think I'm telling you to deepen the relationship, but it will be deepened because of that. But it's the expansion of. I really get that strongly for you. For spirituality, the Temperance. Okay? So look at what you have too much of. The things that are going to waste. Maybe your drawers won't close properly anymore because you've got too many clothes in there and you really don't want to give up those things for this, that, and the other reason. But at the same time, you're getting new clothes and the drawers don't close like they should. And now you've got this little pile over there and you don't know what to do with that pile because there's no more drawers left. There's no more hangers left. What will I do? It's about bringing in a true balance. This is having more by having less. And so, really, the spiritual message that is trying to be conveyed in this card is finding your true balance by knowing where things are memories, because we all have those little trinkets throughout our house of memories and joys, and which ones are just kind of junk. And they're not really junk but really, you're dusting all that stuff all the time. So if you don't have a glass compartment, no, I'm just kidding. But if it made you smile once, then allow it to go out there so somebody else smiles for the first time as they place it in their hand and they say, "Oh, I know exactly where I'm going to put you." If you want to keep the memory, then take a picture of the memory and put it in a scrapbook, or do a big picture. What do they call that when you take all the different pictures and you kind of just put them together, and it's all there? You could take all those possessions and just make a really nice picture to hang on your wall instead and give those possessions away. But it's not necessarily just about things. Okay, it's about your lifestyle. It's where you're giving a lot of energy or too much energy away, where you're giving your power away and where you need to bring it back, where you have been giving too much of your heart away and you need to set some firm guidelines or boundaries, or maybe where you need to open up your heart for the very first time in a long time, where you need to grow your spirituality more, your work habits stronger, maybe self-discipline yourself more, or maybe let up a little bit on yourself and stop pushing yourself so flippin' hard all the time. Health and well-being is the Page of Pentacles. So, you know what? It's about growing you want to stay healthy, okay? Just every day, consistently think about your passions and how they are going to grow into one day your best life ever. Or maybe it's just a part of your life. Maybe you're trying to get a new business off the ground. And every day, give it the attention of it growing into something wonderful, beautiful, out of this world, amazing kind of stuff. If you're looking for love, expect it to be the best love. See them, being supportive of you and having lots in common and doing extra things for you and making you number one in their life and allowing you to see the beauty and the strength and the wonderment of who you are. Okay, and they bring that out. And every day, just kind of consistently give, the passions, the dreams, the desires that you want to come into your life. And just grow them. And you will feel a lot stronger each and every day. And that energy kind of compounds. And I'd really like to know at the end of the month exactly what transpired, because sometimes a lot of that stuff does come in. Okay, we're going to a Rose Oracle now. And our card is Mother Rose. Returning to each other, compassion, humanity. Okay, I'm going to look it up in the book, and then I will hold that card up so that you can meditate on it while I read about it to you. Okay, Mother Rose. Look at that card. It's got so much detail to it, huh? It's like layers of detail. Anyways, a sacred symbol of the feminine. The rose has been here much longer than us. In times ancient, garlands of roses were placed around the statues of mother goddesses in worship of her. We are all her children. She connects and unites us all. If we trace her roots back far enough, maybe we'll find our way back to each other. We're living in a time of great division, learning and unlearning. We're together mending the thread of humanity. This is a card of returning to union by facing what has been broken, separated, severed. To realize that we're all human, and while harm has been done, what's needed now is for us to acknowledge what's happened and endeavor to find a way to return to each other, to realize that it is possible for two people to have a different experience at the same time, and both can be true. Mother Rose longs for humanity to drop our defenses and reach out to each other with deep honesty and compassion, to face and untangle the sadness, the anger, the hurt from our hearts, with the help of her grace, to dig our roots deep until we find common ground. Which relationships are difficult for you now? Who has hurt you? How can you soften and express your truth without becoming defensive? How can you open yourself up to the possibility that two truths can exist at once? The Rose transmission is Mother Rose. Please show us how to find our way back to you, the earth, and each other. Please help me to acknowledge what's difficult for me, and may my heart be filled with compassion for all. And that is the Mother Rose. Until we meet again. How fitting was it, huh? I talked the whole time about relationships and what does it ask you to do. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.